Ever since the dawning of video game consoles, there has been superhero games in some fashion. Some of them are fantastic, others are wank. Absolute wank. Like some of the earlier Marvel ones were dreadful, absolutely dreadful. However, I've gathered together about 4 or 5 of what I think are the more fun superhero games of recent memory, and because the new Suicide Squad game is coming out and I am totally not going to buy it, 100% not going to buy it, I wanted to just collect together some of these games, talk about them a little bit, and maybe pick which one I think is the best or still stands out as one of the best. You can probably guess which one it's going to be, because it's pretty much a general consensus held by a lot of people. And before I get going, yes, obviously from the thumbnail, SpiderMan from PS4, PS5, well, more specifically, this is the PC version, is in the video. I have not played Spider-Man 2, so just bear that one in mind. I'll go into that a bit later on, but yeah, you got it, okay? Now, starting off with Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, although this is a fairly linear affair, it's actually pretty good. The story is very good, the voice acting is awesome, the combat is good enough, I suppose. It's serviceable in a way, and it's a shame you only play as Peter Quill. And I think if there was a little bit more freedom put in, like side quests that you could do and you can pick and choose where you travel to and whatnot, that would be a pretty cool addition. Maybe if they make a second, I doubt it. I doubt there's going to be a second game. I think it kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. But Guardians of the Galaxy is a really good game. If you want a really good story-based, linear-ish, it's not linear-ish, it is linear. It's wow linear. Then Guardians of the Galaxy is the one for you, especially if you're a fan of the films or the comics. It's done really, really well. Moving on to Marvel again. Now, Marvel Avengers, you cannot buy digitally anymore. And this is a game that I think the story mode is actually really good. I quite liked playing as Kamala Khan through the story, and having to go and recruit all the Avengers to come back and help fight the enemy at the end. I'm not spoiling anything, just in case nobody's played it. Yes, they made an absolute massive mistake by making this a live game service thing, which is exactly what DC are doing with the Suicide Squad game, and it is going to fail hard. So hard, in fact, it's just going to fail. It's going to fall flat on its face, dead on arrival. And Avengers is a lot of fun to play, especially now is that they released on Steam. I think it was like $2.98 or it's basically £3, and you got all the characters minus Spider-Man, of course, because that's Sony exclusive. But you got hold of all the characters, all their costumes, and like you can just level up each character or the character of your choice, and flying around as Iron Man is really cool. I quite like running around as Winter Soldier and fighting as him, but overall there's a good collection of characters. Even playing as one of the 2 Hawkeyes is really awesome, and although the game 100% does have its problems, and I 100% agree with a lot of people, I still think this game, if you can find it dirt cheap physically somewhere for console, or if you can get yourselves a code to download it on Steam, Marvel's Avengers is worth playing for really, really cheap if you can get it really cheap. Okay, there are a lot of haters out there that will claim that no, it's absolutely dog trash, don't do it, and they're entitled to their opinion, of course. But I've been playing superhero games and video games for now over 30 years, and there are far worse games than Marvel's Avengers. Trust me. Now, moving on, we are going on to another game which it was quite controversial at release because it wasn't optimized very well, and that is Gotham Knights. Now, Gotham Knights, I did like playing through. I did like it, and I do still like it. I obviously reinstalled it to capture the footage for this. I have not played it since I completed it, so it's had a couple of updates, not too many, but I still really enjoy Gotham Knights. It has its moments. Again, I think it was intended to be some form or fashion, or was going to be a games as a service, but was scrapped. Something happened along the lines. But I do find the combat pretty cool, although it is very simplistic, and I do like playing as the 4 different characters. And I do hope that there's some form of DC game like this. I'd like another Batman game, please. But seriously, the Gotham Knights is worth picking up on the cheap. If you can get this one for £10 or less, then it's worth picking up. This game has The story isn't fantastic or anything. It's good, and it starts off with a bang. But there's a lot of side stuff, including like with Clayface, Penguin, and all that kind of. It's really cool. If you're a DC fan, this one should tickle some of those little fancies of yours. Now, moving on to Spider-Man, and I'll club in the Miles Morales Spider-Man game as well, because I have played those too. Spider-Man is my favourite superhero of all time. Closely followed by Batman, but Spider-Man is my favourite superhero. He has always been my favourite superhero since the early 90s, and I have watched like every iteration of the cartoon and the movies, and I've played pretty much every single game apart from the newest Spider-Man 2. I'm in no mad rush because I do find Sony's sequels to basically be like a 1.5 version of the first game. They're very similar. I felt that with God of War Ragnarok. Although God of War Ragnarok is still a really good game, it just feels like an extended version of the 2018 God of War. Not that that's a negative, it's just a bit fatiguing if you go from one to the other very quickly. But Spider-Man, hands down, has the best traversal in a superhero game for me personally. And moving around as Spider-Man and fighting and all the cinematic elements that come with the cutscenes and the interactive boss fights and all of that kind of stuff, and with Miles as well, it's really awesome. I know that in the Spider-Man 2 they did not implement randomized crimes, which I think is a massive like misfire. I think you should have put implemented never-ending randomized crimes, just to incentivize people to, if they feel like swinging through the city, there's always something to do. Not have essentially a checklist that once that's all done, that's it. All you can do then is just swing around the city, because Spider-Man is a crime fighter, not a acrobatic gymnast. So he needs people to fight, or super villains to fight. And this moves on to what I think is the best, and I'm clumping all 4 games, you all know where I'm going with this, but I'm clumping all 4 games together, and that is the Batman Arkham series. I recently started playing Arkham City again, and once again was blown away. On PC, especially with everything whacked up, it still looks great, and Arkham Knight still looks fantastic now. I know Arkham Knight released in a horrific state originally, but now it's fine. To a point. It's got some issues, but it's fine to a point. But the Arkham games are so damn good. From the voice acting from Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill to all the different characters that are in it, the different characters that you can play as. Arkham Asylum was a big deal for me. That was like the best Batman game ever, and like a fantastic game as well. One of the best games of that year. And I played the absolute hell out of it. And then Arkham City came out, and once again I picked it up at midnight when people used to go out and buy games at midnight, and I played the absolute hell out of that one. Arkham Knight came along, I played that one. Arkham Origins, I really like Arkham Origins. I know it gets a bad rap, but Arkham Origins is still really awesome and a solid game. They are all awesome and solid. The combat is so satisfying. It's got the best superhero combat out of any game, in my opinion. Now, I do think the traversal with Spider-Man is a lot better, of course, because Batman just grapple hooks and glides, and in Arkham Knight, the Batmobile gets thrust down your throat a lot. But apart from, I do like doing that, but all the detective work and all the gadgets that Batman has, and the characters and the story and the villains, and graphically as well, and the stealth elements as well, so you can take down enemies that way, plus the replayability with all the different challenges and stuff you can do. The Batman Arkham games absolutely take the cake, and they take the win, in my opinion, for the best superhero games. I can't pick one of them that I think is the best. I think out of all of them, Arkham City and Arkham Knight are above Arkham Asylum and Origins, but still all 4 of them are just equal parts of the same awesomeness, and I do hope that we get more games, or some games maybe with Superman. There must be a way they can do it where you can, I don't know, they'll have to suppress his power or something, but surely there's more characters in DC than just Superman and Batman. We can have Wonder Woman, we can have Green Lantern, we can have Green Arrow, Cyborg, The Flash. Go nuts. Aquaman I can live without. I can live without an Aquaman game. But there's so much that you can do, and I just hope that they just do it. Just do it. Just make it good. Make a good game, just like you did with the Arkham games. And although, yes, Spider-Man is still fantastic and amazing and looks amazing and plays amazing, unfortunately is not as good as the Arkham games as an overall package. The Arkham games have so much more in them, and they never get boring. I can keep going back to them. But please let me know in the comments down below what kind of games that you guys like in the superhero genre. Maybe some of the older ones on the Sega Mega Drive or the PS1 even. Just let me know down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching.
Do I come in the Batcave, start messing with all your stuff?
You've managed to reduce the compound to its core elements.
But there's nothing in there that we can trace.
What if we'd been looking at this the wrong way? Instead of searching for the toxin, what if we focus on the manufacturing process?